Forward to the Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Blue Zone Project Parkland-Spanaway's first request for proposals for murals. My name is Krista Tim, and I am the public policy lead for Blue Zone's project. And I will have Devon introduce himself.
Yes, hello. My name is Devon. I am the marketing and engagement lead for our Blue Zones Project Parkland-Spanaway team.
Thank you, Devon. So a little bit of background about Blue Zone's project. So we are a health and well-being company focused on making the healthy choice the easy choice where we live, work, and play. So we do that through some sector work. So we have our people pillar, who's Devon, and they do some free engagement activities. We have cooking classes and boxing classes and other fun classes. We also have a places lead who works on worksite wellness, school wellness, grocery stores, and restaurants. And then I do the policy work, and so that touches built environment. So safer roads, streets. This project falls under that. I also do some food systems work, so increasing access to fresh produce, and then some alcohol and tobacco work as well. If you want to learn more, you can go to Blue Zones Project, parklandspanaway.com.org. Um, and so I'm really excited to talk about this request for proposal. So this is our first mural project that we're doing in Parkland-Spanaway. A little bit of background about this project is that we in 2023, there was a well-being survey, and 597 residents in Parkland-Spanaway were surveyed, and it was discovered that only 25.5% are proud to call this area home. So we wanted to increase community pride and belonging in the community through a variety of different initiatives, and a mural and public art in the area is one of the ways that we're hoping to do that. So I will go ahead and share my screen.
Yes. And as you're pulling this up, Krista, I'll add that in response to that lower data point that we found in terms of community pride and sense of belonging here in the Parkland area, this mural campaign is a part of a larger initiative that will be called Parkland with Purpose. And so we'll have the murals that Krista will explain, but then we'll also have other opportunities and forms of engagement in 2026. So we just invite everybody to keep an eye out and then contribute how you can. The whole goal is that if you love this area, you call Parkland or Spanaway home, there's opportunities for you to get involved and make sure that your neighbors just feel welcomed and cozy in this neighborhood.
Thank you, Devon. So our request for proposal application is on a Google form. So when you open it up, you will see that the deadline for this submission is January 12th at 7 p.m. And then I will be your point of contact. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my email. We also encourage all the application on the Google Forms is pretty long. So we encourage all applicants to review the application before submitting and to download the PDF version of the RFP that's hyperlinked here. Additionally, if you're having any issues, I created a Google shared drive. And so all documents to the folder can be found there if any of the hyperlinks are not working. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me. So going into the application, we have the introduction that talks about a little bit about the project. I think it's really important to note that this final mural installation is contingent upon review and approval of from WSDOT, the Washington State Department of Transportation. So we have submitted a public art plan to the Washington State Department of Transportation. They know that we're going to do a mural along SR 7. but they need to approve the artwork before we can actually paint. And so there's going to be some collaboration between WASDOT to ensure that we meet the state guidance around public art in the right of way, which mainly includes, as it pertains to muralists, is no bright colors, nothing flashing. And then a lot of the other stuff refers to um, changing existing infrastructure, wayfinding, and entrance signs into community. You can find the Washington State Department of Transportation codes in the folder that I hyperlinked above, and then they are also located throughout the application as well. So scrolling down to the timeline, the application opened December 12th. We're doing this virtual information session today. It will be recorded and put on the YouTube channel, our Blue Zones Project Parkland-Spanaway YouTube channel. The deadline to submit portfolios is January 12th, again at 7 p.m. I just want to emphasize that the thing we're looking for in the portfolio submissions is a cover letter talking about your connection to the area and your portfolio. I'll talk more about that later in the recording, but I just wanted to highlight the two things that we need before January 12th. The following week, that same week, we will review the submissions and notify finalists. The second phase of this proposal will be developing conceptual proposals. So we're going to identify up to 3 artists per location. There are 2 locations. And we are going to provide a $300 incentive or stipend to draft a conceptual design. And then we will also interview finalists to go over their conceptual proposal the week of March 2nd. And then from there, we'll begin the contracting process, and the mural installation should happen between April 1st and May 18th. I will also say that the mural installation, Blue Zones Project has purchased the primer, and we will find volunteers to help do the primer. But the muralist will be asked to be there and help with that priming step as well. Section 2 is the information for the request for proposal. And so we would love to add you to our email list. As I mentioned, this is our first mural request for proposal that we're doing. We hope to have more in the future. And so please sign up to hear about other future opportunities. The eligibility criteria is you must be 18 years or older and permitted to work in the US, and the applicant must be an individual or a team of applicant artists. The applicant must live in Pierce County and or have strong connections to the area. We hope you can elaborate this in your cover letter. The cover letter, again, should be a brief introduction of yourself, what art means to you, the connection to the area, the strengths of your creative portfolio and your previous experiences. And for this project, because the goal is to increase community pride, we're really hoping to do some community involvement. So if you have examples of how you've previously worked with community members, we'd love to hear about that, and or how you plan to involve community members in the project if you are selected. For the portfolio, we'd like to see at least 2 up to 4 project work samples from you or the team. The submissions can include up to 3 images of the individual project, and the artwork must be original to the artist or the team of artists and should not be AI generated. Each project work sample should include the location of where it's placed, the timeline, so how long did it take from planning to installment, a narrative, so the story behind the artwork, and the process summary. So how was this project managed? How was the community engaged, etc. And then any points of contact and up to 2 professional references should be included in your proposal. As mentioned, there are two different funding opportunities, and so I'll go over both of those for you. So, mural location number one is along Pac Ave between 115th and 116th Street. We've estimated the surface area to be about 1,271 square feet. We encourage you to visit the site yourself and get exact measurements. But the highest point of the wall that we had measured is 7 feet 5 inches, and the full width of the wall is 210 feet and 9 inches. This mural location is up to $15,000, and that should include supplies, excluding the primer, and we have a UV anti-graffiti top coat that we've also purchased. We've also purchased some rollers to help with some of those initial project costs. And this wall is located right in front of Light Dental Studios. The second mural location is a little further down the road at 116th to 117th Street. The estimated surface area of this wall is 700 square feet, and it's a little shorter. It goes to 6 feet 6 inches, and it's 135 feet wide about. This project is allowable up to $9,000.
Can I add something real quick here too, Krista? Yeah, and so in the first example, it is more of like a mock-up, but in the second example, that is a more recent picture. And on both of these walls currently, they have what is considered more vandalism than art. And our goal is to bring, because this is a wall, these are locations that you see as you're entering what is considered the Parkland area. We want to bring art that again welcomes people into the area, that is reflective of the community. And so that is why having a connection to the community, or at least an understanding of this general area, is important. Because we want art that will be respected by, other artists. And that will, if everybody's on board and, we have respected art there, hopefully, fingers crossed, that prevents more vandalism from happening down the road. Prior to, the vandalism that's there. These were just plain gray walls, so they just were very welcoming to anybody who wanted to leave their mark, so to say. And like we've seen a lot in Pierce County through other art initiatives, we've seen that beautiful art installations help prevent vandalism altogether. So just wanted to add that little bit of context there.
Thank you, Devon. Um, so the application checklist, again, the only thing that we are asking for in this part one or phase one of the application process is to give us your name, email address, and phone number so that we can contact you. Um, and then the name of the person authorized to execute the contract on your behalf, and then the portfolio and the cover letter as covered above. And then there will be some what questionnaire we have in section five, but a lot of that is reading and checking a box, and I'll cover that in a little bit as well. Um, because this is a project with WASDOT, I do want to highlight that we have the right to cancel or change the RFP at any time based on the Washington State Department of Transportation guidance that we may get. So the scope of this work, um, it is expected to have, so mural application applicants can apply for a single location or both locations with one application. There will be a checkbox if so you can note which locations you're interested in. Um, I will talk a little bit more about the project theme but the budgets do vary from 9,000 to 15,000. And that does include your supplies, your permits, and other requirements. And it is expected that community members help with the installation of the murals in some capacity. Blue Zones Project Parkland-Spanaway will work with the selected artist to develop a community engagement plan, and can take lead in any community involvement, such as finding volunteers. But we really hope to work with the selected muralist to see what this looks like because it's a collaboration project. Um, so this summary of the scope of work. We ask after the finalists are selected from the first round, they'll move into phase two. So they will share a site responsive mural design with a timeline incorporating the themes and ideas. We just ask for a paragraph or statement on how community members will be involved in the process. Again, we can work out what that actually looks like once you're awarded the contract. And then please share the proposed budget with the creation and installation of the mural. And then again, we would like the artwork to be original and follows guidelines from the Parkland with Purpose branding campaign and the Washington State Department of Transportation. For phase three, once this grantee is awarded, we will work with the State Department of Transportation to finalize the design. We hope to have a 5-year care plan for the completed mural. The grantee will be expected to provide their own transportation to and from the mural. We hope that that would be executed in a timely manner, and they will be responsible for removing all tools, supplies, and trash generated from the site with support of volunteers. Insurance is not required to submit this RFP, but may be required for contracting purposes. But that will be figured out during the contracting process. The selected artist or team must properly prime and prepare any area approved for painting prior to installation. Again, the primer will be provided. The use of the high quality exterior varnish or UV sealant and anti-graffiti coating will be provided by the project to secure the longevity of the mural. Talking about design requirements for the artwork, I have hyperlinked the Washington State Department of Transportation Public Art Criteria. This document is a little long, but I have highlighted that the actual part we need is on page 3, is on page 4. So unacceptable public art features include brightly lit or flashing art, art that poses a safety risk, large sculptures, reflective qualities. We don't want anything that could cause negative public reaction or resembles a traffic control device. These are the main pieces that we'll need to follow for the project. The design will be installed on the pre-existing wall along SR7. So again, we encourage you to check out the site yourself. And the overall theme for the artwork is Parkland with Purpose. I've already covered the selection process, but again, we'll select up to 3 finalists for phase two. Phase two, we will lead them through a site visit, and then they will be given at least 30 days to develop their conceptual proposal, and then participate in the interview after the conceptual design is submitted. And they will be scored and evaluated based on the criteria provided below. The evaluation criteria, we included both rubrics for phase one and phase two, just to be transparent with what we're looking for. So phase one, where we weighted it really heavily on the artistic merit, the creativity, the originality, and the composition. Then the other 4 categories are equally weighted at 15%. So the technical skills and experience. Have you done something this scale before? What is your tie to community? Does your work enhance a sense of place? And your illustration and work with community members in the past. For phase two with the conceptual design, again, we're weighted it really heavily towards artistic ability, but we are a team of five. And so we hope to do interviews to um, see what that engagement looks like and see if how organized and what their conceptual proposal looks like and their budget, and then referrals, references. Sorry. Because this artwork is being placed on WASDOT property, um, we just waive any right that we have to require a proposal from submitting work. That was a little twisted. Um, and then just the questionnaire goes into the applicant's name, their email address, phone number, zip code. If you have a website you want to share your body of work, you're welcome to do that. And then what locations are interested in, cover letter, portfolio, and then references. And I believe that is all I have to share on the RFP and would like to open it up if anybody has any questions.
Um, I have a question. Just about the primer, you said that you guys are going to supply primer. What about pressure washing and maybe removal of plants that could be growing up around it? Is that something the artist would have to do?
Great question. We Blue Zones Project Parkland-Spanaway will make sure that the wall is power washed prior. We're hoping to maybe hire a local landscaping company or contact one of our state or local jurisdictions to do that, as well as the plant and landscaping maintenance. That will not be the
Okay.
responsibility of the artist.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just add to like the main focus in terms of budget. We want you to be able to focus on the creation of an original art piece. These are some pretty good sized walls. And so just being mindful of one, the duration of installment. So keeping that in mind, we don't want you to have to spend 5, 6, 7 days installing the wall or maybe longer because having to transport materials to and from our office could be a little, could be a lot. And so what we have in mind is that we'll be able to store materials in our space. Our office is located maybe about like 4 blocks from the actual locations. Both locations are within a block of each other. But for the time period in between, where let's say you have a full day of painting, we'll need to get those materials back to our office for overnight storage. So when we think about executing on the idea and executing on the murals, just keep in mind of your pace and your style. Keep in mind that again, you do have volunteers available to support. And if you were to approach it from a more, let's say, like minimal design approach, there may be more ways for volunteers to be involved, which would make for many hands to get it done faster. So there's a lot to consider here. As Krista mentioned, though, in this first wave, we're really just looking for portfolio, cover letter references. And all of that is like the meat and bones of section 5. All the other sections are really just important context that maps out the full extent of the entire process in the entire project. So, yeah. And then Krista, I wanted to mention too that you hyperlinked the Parkland with Purpose brand guide in the top section of the RFP/Google form. Again, there's in section 1.2, there's background with a short statement and a link there to the brand guide as well. But this just really explains the Parkland with Purpose campaign initiative that was informed and created by community partners about in 2023 and 2024. And so this art, we want to reflect the messaging of Parkland with Purpose, but you will see the conceptual designs in those brand guides And the original art pieces that we're hoping to see from artists does not need to look anything like the examples in the Parkland with Purpose brand guide. We want you to focus more on the messaging and how you can interpret that messaging and bring that out using your style, your understanding, and meshing that with reflecting the space, reflecting the neighborhood, reflecting Pierce County, and then just bringing quality art, public art. We just want something beautiful to look at as well, right? So, um, yeah, but this is the brand guide in its entirety. It is a pretty detailed document. Again, there are some visual examples here, but we want you all to focus on the messaging, and yeah, the messaging and the spirit of the campaign.
Thank you, Devon. I knew it was hyperlinked somewhere. I just couldn't figure out where it was.
Yeah, no worries.
But yes, it is located in section 1.2. And it is also hyperlinked up above in where all the documents can be found. Okay. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Our
Okay.
intent was to keep this pretty straightforward. So hopefully it feels that way. It is a lot of words in there, and that's why we're leaving ample time to read. But if you have questions, Krista's contact info is in the header. We'll be around between, we'll be not around, I should say, between December 22nd and January 2nd. So if you reach out in those time frames, you may get a delayed response. But overall, our goal is to keep it pretty straightforward. So there aren't a lot of questions in this first part. And then we'll be back around January 5th to engage, answer questions, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Thank you so much for your interest in this application, and we hope to work with you soon. Have a great day, everybody.